All right, Better Show the Fan here with you from Just Win Bets, baby, with Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac, we're going to talk about, of course, the SEC, and we'll get to that in just a second. We want to thank everyone who came out for Glory Days for our UFC 319 match, as well as the continuing subscribers on all of our social media. A special thanks to all of you, and hope you enjoy our breakdown of the SEC. We'll start off, Shano, with, of course, Alabama. We'll get that for you right there on the screen. And while you see that, folks, on the screen is the current weekend games that's going to happen this weekend. So there's only a few games, especially the one that's Iowa State and Kansas State playing in Dublin later, playing tomorrow. So let's go with Alabama, and that's coming up right there. Here we go, Shano. They start off on August 30th against Florida State, my Florida State Seminoles. They got a few particular key games there. They got Wisconsin. They've got UGA early, and that's going to be at UGA. When I say UGA, of course, is the University of Georgia. Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU at home, Oklahoma, and then they finish out with Auburn. The current total odds for the total number of wins is 9.5 there, Shano. Over and under both at minus 110 to win the whole enchilada, which is the SEC, is close to plus 500, currently at plus 490 from our friends at DraftKings. Your thoughts on Alabama Crimson Tide?
Alabama, I think they're going to have a little bit more of a bounce back year and be closer to the Alabama we're used to with Alabama. They haven't really been the same without Nick Saban. Obviously, he retired 2 years ago now, right?
Right.
They have Ty Simpson, who looks like he's going to be starting under center. He's going to be starting at quarterback. They have an offense coordinator that's going to be reunion with their head coach, with Ryan Grubb. And his system, I feel like, is a little bit more quarterback friendly. So I think that will be beneficial to him. Alabama is going to have a hell of a defense, I think. I think that's going to be their strength this year. Their defensive line is old, like not old, but you know what I mean. They're all juniors and seniors. They're all the state starters, so they're experienced. Last year, they were stout up front with their line. It was their back end. Their DBs were not up to par. And I think that with another year to grow, I think they'll be a lot better. I think Alabama will be a top 10 defense this year. So that's always beneficial, right? And I think that gives you a lot of wins.
Sure.
When I did the math and I went through the games, I have them at 9.47 wins. So it's literally right on 9.5.
Spot on.
I think that they'll lose to Georgia for sure. I think Georgia's going to be a dog this like crazy this year. Mm-hmm. So I think they lose to Georgia, and then LSU and Auburn are the two that I'm tossing up. But I think they go over this year. I think they go over. I'm going to take them I think they go 10-2.
So 10-2, the over would be at minus 110 for the Crimson Tide. Let's move now. We talked about, you mentioned UGA, as I used to call him. I love that dog, by the way. And he's got his own personal, as you know there, Shano, he has his own personal doghouse. I don't know if you knew that or not, because he gets a little, overheated, so to speak. Here's, of course, their schedule, as you can see it, folks, on the screen, courtesy of DraftKings. They start off again on August 30th, an ESPN game with Marshall. Then they have, of course, throughout the schedule, they have Alabama, which we talked about. They're going to be hosting Alabama. Prior to that, they'll be traveling to Tennessee. After the Alabama, they got Kentucky, Auburn, Ole Miss, Florida, Mississippi State, Texas. That's a good one there, Shano. November 15th. And they end out with Georgia Tech. The odds currently, again, 9.5. The over at minus 184. The under at plus 148. To win the whole thing, it's gone up. It was at plus 290, Shano. It's now at plus 300. Your thoughts on UGA?
So Georgia is my prediction to win the SEC this year. I think Georgia is stacked. I think they're stacked. They have like 14 starters returning. And then the main thing they have returning is their quarterback, right? So their quarterback's coming back, Gunnar Stockton, their quarterback.
Right.
He was a 5-star recruit. He's coming back. And when you have your starting quarterback coming back with 13 other starters coming back with you, that's a pretty solid team. And Georgia is mad, I think, from last season.
Georgia's pissed.
Yeah, they're definitely pissed. The over is a for sure lock. They're not going to go under 9 or get 9 wins or fewer. They're definitely get at least 10 wins. But I think I like them at 3-1 to win the conference a lot. That's a very good play for me. I think. I think the toughest game that they have. Alabama's always tough, but I think they'll beat Alabama. I think their toughest game is Texas, and we'll see what happens there when it's come down there. But I think Georgia's a team to beat in the SEC this year. I like Georgia to win it all.
And keep in mind there, Shano, that Georgia will host Texas. Currently the preseason number 1, but they'll host them on November 15th. So they don't have to travel there, and they'll also host Alabama. So a very good schedule. And at 3-1, it looks like producer Mark is getting on that quick before that starts to change. So
yeah, and something else about them is Georgia. They're favored to win in every single game this year. If you look out in the future stat lines and stuff like that,
yep.
They're favored by at least a touchdown in every single game. So, I mean, the odds makers are saying bet that over like crazy, and they're even favored against Texas. So that tells you something else there too, right? So, yeah, Georgia, I think, is a team to beat here.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's another contender here in the SEC that we're going to look at now is LSU. I'm going to pull that up right here on the screen there, folks. LSU, of course, that's their schedule right there, folks. The odds, of course, for the team total wins is 8.5. The over is at -162. The under is at +132. I have a personal friend. She lives in Louisiana. She actually attended the LSU as well as her family. So she's a huge. She's a councilwoman. She's also an attorney. So I wish her team the very best in this upcoming season. Let's look at this one, but they start off right off the bat. This is what's scary about LSU. The first game is August 30th against, and it's at Clemson. That's a tough matchup, my friend.
That's a tough matchup for both teams. I mean, thank God. Like, I love it when they do that though, because remember, it's so much better than like LSU playing Eastern, Western Mississippi State.
Yeah,
some directional school.
Yeah,
like I love those big matchups like that. That's what makes college football so much fun.
Yeah, it's not like they're taking on Chico State in California. August 30th again against at Clemson. We will be at Glory Days for that one there, my friend. Then, of course, we'll talk about that a little bit later. They've got Louisiana Tech. They've got Gainesville, as I like to call them. They also have, throughout the schedule, they have Ole Miss, South Carolina. They have Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Alabama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and they end out with Oklahoma. Again, the odds for total wins at 8.5. To win the whole enchilada, it's at +750. What are your thoughts for LSU this year?
LSU, I like LSU a lot. I think it's time for Kelly there, the head coach, Chip Kelly. He's a head coach there, and it's time for him to start turning this program around. He's had a couple not losing seasons, but losing in LSU's eyes. If you're not in national championship contender in LSU, you're pretty much you're considered a losing season. It's crazy to think about their last couple coaches. So they had Saban won the national title. They had Orgeron win the national title, and then they have Kelly, who has not touched it yet, not even gotten close.
Yep.
So 8.5, I think they'll go over with that though. I think that they're going to be like a 9-3 team. I don't think they'll win the SEC. Could they? Sure, if they get hot, I could see them going on a streak and winning there.
Right.
But Clemson, like you said, is a tough game. Bama's another tough game. And I think Oklahoma's a little sneaky in there too. They have Oklahoma on their schedule. That's a little sneaky. I can see that being a tough game for them as well. But I think that 9-3 is where I have them.
Interesting. Yeah. I've always been go Tigers. He's always been a good coach. I guess he retired. I guess he's definitely no longer with LSU, but I always watched him. Orgeron, of course.
Orgeron he was hilarious. He was perfect for that job too, because he was from down there too.
Go Tigers! He had there was a movie, of course, that you probably remember there, Shano, is The Blind Side, and he was in that movie as well as Nick Saban and everybody else was on there. But
I thought you were going to say The Water Boy with the coach no one could understand. Yeah, the Talent movie. They had the Cajun coach, no one could understand.
He's a comedian. That guy is a comedian in real life.
Yeah.
I don't. What's his name? Blake Clark is the name of the comedian. He's funny. He is hugely funny. I've always been a big fan of his. But yeah, but that movie is great with Adam Sandler and of course the late Jerry Reed, aka Snowman. You're fired. Oh man. All right, let's go, of course, to the number one, preseason number one. And I'm, of course, referring to Arch Manning, Texas Longhorns. Their winning odds, of course, at 9.5 win total. Their over is at -178 currently. Obviously, all these odds are subject to change. Their under is at +146. Shano, they're at also close to 300 to win the whole thing at +290. They start off with a huge match, and this is another game that we're going to be covering along with the LSU Clemson there at Glory Days, only in Burke, Virginia. But we're going to be covering that game as well as this one there, Shano, on Fox, which is LSU taking on Texas there. They've got, of course, I'm sorry, Ohio State. Excuse me, Ohio State taking on
LSU, man.
Yeah, my bad.
OSU.
Yeah, OSU is what I meant. Ohio State taking on, and they're going to be at Texas. That's going to be a good game. Later on, they have, of course, three of the scrub games, including one of them being Sam Houston and UTEP. But later on in October, they'll have to travel to Gainesville, home against Oklahoma, at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, home against Vanderbilt, at UGA. Now, that's something that we talked about earlier. And then they finish off with two home games against Arkansas and Texas A&M. So again, the number one overall AP preseason total odds at the total wins at 9.5. And what are your thoughts here for Texas?
9.5. They're going over that. I think I see them 10-2. I think they're going to lose to Georgia, and I think Ohio State beats them. Honestly, I think I do. I think not that Texas isn't good. I think Texas is good. But I think Arch Madness is coming into a little play here.
Yeah,
I think Arch Manning here is boosting their rankings up just a tad. I think, not that he's not good. He's a great. Texas is great, but I see them losing to Georgia, which I already talked about earlier, and I think Ohio State. That's a tough matchup. That's a tough matchup. They go week one, just same as the last one where we had Clemson going against LSU. That those are not slouch games. That's tough. And I think they're doing that on purpose because, like, if even if they lose that game, they can still get into the college football playoffs, right? Because if you lose to Ohio State, there's no shame in that, right? Same thing with LSU and Clemson. If either one of those lose to each other, there's no shame in losing to Clemson or losing to LSU. So you still have a shot at getting into that playoffs at the end. So, and it boosts on your strength of schedule a lot more than playing someone like Samford or something like that. But I see it's definitely going over 9.5. But I see them at 10-2. Possibly 11-1. I don't think they beat Georgia this year, though. So that's why I said Georgia as the SEC champs in my eyes.
Yeah, there is a mistake on the graphic here, folks. I did say earlier that they're going to be playing on prime time. That is a false fake news there, as they say. It's going to be at noon. So they kick off August 30th with this blockbuster game, Ohio State at Texas at noon. That's a 12 o'clock noon game. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on the Ohio State there. That's wow.
Yeah, Ohio State's always good. I mean, and so it's going to be a great game. Like I definitely want to watch it. It's right. It's two great teams, but yeah, I think Ohio State's slightly better than Texas, but we'll see. They're going to play each other here in about just over a week and a day. So, but I could see that game going either way. That's it. But I don't see them beating Georgia this year. That's what really comes down to me for the SEC championship. And then, but it's definitely over 9.5.
Yeah. Let's talk about a few other teams that are in here. And we'll go real quick we'll start with Vanderbilt, of course, first. We'll go kind of backwards here. So we'll go Vanderbilt. And we have that here, Shano. They take on VTech. on September 6th. That's our local club here, and they're actually traveling to Virginia, to Blacksburg. But again, they've got Utah State, Georgia State, South Carolina, Alabama, Texas, Missouri, LSU, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. Their total 4.5. Over at -192, under at +154. I don't see them winning 5 games here.
I don't either. I like the under here. I like the under here a lot. It's a pretty tough schedule. Vandy is they have their up and down years, but no, I'm going under 4.5.
Yeah, if they squeak by Utah State, I don't
I
see
think
it.
They'll beat Charleston Southern, whoever that is.
Right.
They'll beat Georgia State. They should beat, I would think. Utah
Right.
State, I think they could probably beat. Maybe Kentucky.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I'm going under 4.5 for sure. And that's at plus money too. So
absolutely. Let's go to Texas A&M, currently at +1,600 to win the whole enchilada. There's the schedule right there, folks. They too also take on Utah State and Notre Dame in their third match of the season. Auburn, Mississippi State, Gainesville, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, Carolina, South Carolina, that is, Samford. That's the Samford right there, that logo. And then, of course, oh, right. And then they've got, of course, Texas at the end. Their win total here, I don't understand this, is at 7.5. Over at -172, under at +140. I don't see it.
I'm smashing the under. Yeah. I'm smashing the under on that one too.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
That's a tough schedule. That's a really tough schedule. At Notre Dame, at LSU, at Texas, South Carolina is good. South Carolina is not like I'm in contention to win it all this year, maybe, but they're still a damn good team, right? So yeah, I don't see them getting 8 wins.
Let's move to Tennessee. The Purina dog food checkerboard logo that's in the back of their, what do you call it, the end zone there. They start off, of course, the Tennessee Vols. The odds are 8.5, over at +118, the under at -144. They got Syracuse. They have, of course, Georgia. They have UAB, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Alabama. They have New Mexico State, Gainesville, and then Vanderbilt. I don't see them going over. I don't see them 9 wins here. No. They lose to, they lose to UGA, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Bama. Yeah. Oklahoma, especially in November, and in Gainesville. And it's at Gainesville.
Yeah, that's a brutal schedule. Tennessee is pretty good this year, but they're not that good. I'm taking the under.
Absolutely. Let's go to South Carolina. South Carolina is our next. As you can see, folks, on the screen, August 31st, they host Virginia Tech. That's going to be Beamer versus former Beamer. You know what I mean?
Frank Beamer's son, the head coach there.
Yep. So they'll take care of that on the 31st. Throughout the schedule, they have, of course, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Kentucky, LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Coastal Carolina there. And they end with Clemson. Their total is 7.5, over +146, under -180.
This one's a close one.
Yeah, that's a close one.
This is a close one to me. I think they'll beat Tech. Virginia Tech's not great this year. They'll beat South Carolina State. They'll beat Vandy. Kentucky's should beat Coastal Carolina. They'll beat. But you got Bama, no. Oklahoma, no. LSU, no. Ole Miss, no. Clemson, no. That's tough. So if I had to, I think I see 7 wins here.
Yeah, I think the kicker killed you on this one. Speaking of Ole Miss, we'll go to Ole Miss right here. Here it is. You've got Georgia State, how they start off with. The odds here is 8.5, over at -115, under at -105. To win the whole thing, it's +1,400. And this is something that producer Mark is starting to lean on this one. It's not his official pick, but he likes it. He's got Kentucky, Arkansas. They have, of course, Tulane, LSU, West. That is, of course, Washington State on October the 11th. UGA, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Sentinel. That's an interesting match. Gainesville,
Citadel. Don't they play Citadel?
Citadel, right?
Yeah.
And Mississippi State. Your thoughts on this one?
What's the over under?
Eight and a half. I'm sorry, 8.5. Yeah,
8.5. I would go over 8.5. I don't think that schedule's that crazy. I think they'll lose to LSU, they'll lose to Georgia, they'll lose to Oklahoma. That's going to put them at 9-3. I think they can beat the rest of them.
right.
Ole Miss is pretty good. Lane Kiffin,
Right.
he always gets the hype there, so he could let us down though too because he's known for doing that as well.
Absolutely.
But I think they get the 9 wins. I can see that.
Absolutely.
I think those 3 are definite losses. I think LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma. The only one I'd be scared of out of the other ones is maybe Florida or South Carolina.
Right.
I think they can beat pretty handily all the other teams on there.
But remember, they host South Carolina, both South Carolina and Gainesville, so you never know. The Sooners, the Sooners of Oklahoma is next, and you can see there their second game is Michigan. They've got, of course, Temple. They've got Auburn, Kent State, and again, we talked about Kent State. Don't sleep on them. Now, there's no way I don't think that Kent State would travel to Oklahoma and beat them, but hey, you never know. Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and of course, they end with LSU. The odds for the total wins is 7.5, over at plus 105, under at minus 130. This is a close one.
You said that 7.5?
Yep.
Yeah, that's really close. So they're not going to beat Michigan.
Nope.
They're not going to beat Texas. I don't think they'll beat Tennessee. They're not going to beat Bama. And so that leaves out the other ones. So what's that? 4 wins. That gets you at 8 if they just lose those 4, right?
Yep. Because you still have still have to take on Ole Miss and LSU.
Yeah. Yeah. I 7.5. I think I'm looking at 7 wins here. I think I'm taking the under.
Ugh. Yeah, I agree.
That's a tough schedule.
Yeah, that's a tough.
That's a tough schedule.
Yep. You just never know. You just never know.
SEC is so tough, and they beat up on each other all the time. They're so tough. There's no easy schedules at all.
No, not at all. Missouri Tigers is next. Let's go there real quick. They take on Kansas, and don't forget they take on the Raging Canes. Now I'm hungry. South Carolina, UMass, Alabama, Auburn, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Their odds for total wins is 6.5, over at minus 168. The under at plus 136.
6.5. I like the over there. My model has them at 7.4. So I think they get the 7 wins easy. I'm debating if I should bump it up to 7.5 and go over, but I'm trying to look at the schedule one last time.
Right.
Bama, no. South Carolina. Yeah, the schedule's not that tough for an SEC schedule. You're looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Central Arkansas, yes. Kansas, they should beat. Louisiana, they'll beat. South Carolina's tough.
Yeah, they should also take care of Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M, I think they could take care of them. They're hosting Texas A&M.
Yeah, I like the over here, and I might bump it up to over 7.5 instead of 6.5. Play an alt line, and maybe get more of a because you said it was minus 180,
168.
168.
Yeah,
yeah. So if it's minus 168 at 6.5, maybe you can get closer to even money if you go over 7.5.
Yeah,
I would think about doing that.
I would shop for that one, even if you can get to 7, and if it lands at 7, it's a push.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's go to Mississippi State here. Their total is 3.5. Ooh. They're over at minus 158, under at plus 128. Not good. They've got Arizona State to be as they face one. They also take on Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, Gainesville, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Missouri, and UGA. I don't see them winning 4 games. I really don't.
No, Mississippi State Bulldogs, as Fred Smoot would say.
Yep.
Mississippi State Bulldogs. That's where he went.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough schedule. 3.5 though. I mean, it's hard not to win 4 games, but still, that's a tough schedule. I think they could beat Alcorn State, maybe Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I mean,
Southern Miss, maybe. I mean, ASU sometimes is pretty decent too. So I think
Yeah, see, but that's the thing I'm thinking, and I know I'm thinking about ahead, but I might take the point on Southern Miss, the first game, man.
Yeah.
That put a
That,
little pizza money on that, but we got to see what the spread is. Let's go to
yeah, I don't know.
let's go to Kentucky here. The Kentucky Wildcats, they got Toledo, Ole Miss, they've got South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, Gainesville. They have Tennessee State or Tennessee Tech, excuse me, Vanderbilt, and of course Louisville. Their odds for total wins is 4.5, over at -108, under at -112. This is a hard one.
I don't. I mean, they won 4 games last year. Kentucky did,
Right.
and this schedule is not an easy one either.
Right.
I mean, so I see them at 4 wins again. I'm taking the under. That's what I'm betting on here. I think they can beat Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Tennessee Tech. But outside of that, that's not an easy schedule.
Yeah, it's brutal. That kicker, I may stay away on this one. Just completely stay away. But if it was at 5 or 5.5, I definitely take the under. But yeah, it's that kicker. You just never know. Florida, Gainesville, the Florida Gators. Their total wins is 7.5, over at +116, under at -142. They too take on teams like South Florida, LSU, Miami from the ACC, Texas A&M. I know, the U. Mississippi State, UGA, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State Seminoles. Tough.
What's the over-under at?
7.5, over at +116, under at -142.
7.5. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what about Florida? They have a quarterback coming back, DJ Lagway. He's pretty good. Their defense should be pretty good this year, but that schedule is tough. Even their out of conference schedule is, because they're playing Miami. They're no slouch, right?
Right.
Miami's one of the favorites to win the ACC outside of Clemson. And we just did our ACC video last week. 7.5. Ooh. Let's go through the losses here. Let's see here. LSU, they'll lose. Texas, they'll lose. Georgia, I think they'll lose to Ole Miss. So what's that? That's 4. So that gets you at 8. I think they'll lose one other one, either the Florida State or Miami, one of those two.
I think they lose. I think they lose to Miami, but I think they destroy Florida State. But you know what? Florida State they can only go up from here, right? So you never know.
Yeah. And they get Tennessee. Tennessee's tough. I think I'm gonna go under on that one. Yeah. I'm gonna go under 7.5.
Let's continue this, my friend, and we'll go, of course, with Auburn. Auburn Tigers. They take on Baylor right off the bat. And then they have, of course, they travel later on with Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, Missouri, Arkansas, the University of Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Mercer. That's an interesting one. And then they end home against Alabama. They're over and under here on total wins is 7.5, over at -164, under at +134, courtesy of DraftKings. What's your thoughts here?
I think they can get to 8 wins. I don't think that schedule is that crazy bad. Georgia's tough, yeah. Bama's tough, but outside of that, it's not that tough. Oklahoma's always a tough game, but I think they can get the 8 wins here. I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
I think they can get 8 and 4.
Yeah, I could see it. It's just gonna barely squeak over, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Squeaky bum time on that one. Our last one of the SEC is, of course, Arkansas. Arkansas here, the Razorbacks. Pretty easy schedule on the first 2 games there, and then they travel to Ole Miss, and they also travel to Memphis to take on the Tigers there. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. Home against Notre Dame, at Tennessee, and then 3 straight home games there, Shano. Texas A&M, Auburn, and Mississippi State. They travel the next 2 games before the season finale with Missouri at home, but they travel to LSU and at Texas. Current odds, 5.5, over at +116, under at -142.
5.5. I like the over 5.5. I think they can get the 6 wins here. I don't think their schedule's that crazy. They can beat Arkansas State. They should be able to beat Alabama A&M. I think they can beat Mississippi State. Mississippi State's not good. We just talked about them.
Right.
Missouri, I think they can beat Memphis. Memphis is a little tough sometimes, but I think they can beat Memphis. And that's it. That's your 6 wins right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So I'm going over 5.5.
Okay. At plus money at plus 116. It looks like producer Mark just laid some Papa John's franchise money on that one. Courtesy of that. Wow.
Oh, I wonder if he owns as many as Shaq now. Like Shaq owns like 50 Papa John's or something like that.
This guy, I tell you.
We got to look it up, see who has more.
I might have to look that one up. All right, so that concludes our SEC breakdown for the total wins and conference winners. Shano, just a recap, you're going with who to win it all?
I like Georgia. I think Georgia is the team to beat this year in the SEC. Just looking at their schedule, I mean, the schedule's not tough, but I mean, it's Georgia, right? Yeah. It's not like they can't handle it. Like, it's not like they haven't done it before. They have 14 starters returning. They have their 5-star quarterback returning. They have 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen coming back. That's huge. I think they're coming back. I think they're coming back in a big way. I think they're winning the SEC, and I might throw some money for them to win it all this year. The national titles game, because if you win the SEC, you have a good shot of winning it all.
Absolutely. And they have a very good coaching staff.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Kirby Smart, of course.
Yep. There's other teams I like. I think LSU, if they catch fire, they could get there. Texas, not that I don't like Texas. I think it really comes down to that Texas-Georgia game when they play each other. That's really going to decide the conference there, I think. Right. But I think Georgia's a team to beat. But yeah, we'll see. I can't wait to see the games. Let's get the season going.
Yeah, it's
week 0 tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a hot time in the cold town throughout the whole season, my friend. So that, of course, concludes our SEC breakdown and preview. Thanks for watching, folks. Thank you again for the subscribers and support. We'll be at Glory Days in Burke. Not this weekend, of course, but we'll be starting on August the 30th, and then the following week on September the 6th. So we'll be catching those games, the primetime games for that. We'll have more information for you to share later on. But for the time being, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And good luck to everyone, and enjoy the start of college football. We'll see you later.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.